Hello, property nomads. Hope you're well. So, charging an electric car is now more expensive than using petrol. This is an article we're going to go through. It's from the Daily Mail. And as you can probably tell, the pieces of the puzzle are starting to be put together when it comes down to climate emergencies, climate change, all these climate warriors, and electric this, electric that. And as we said before, time and time again, it's all okay until someone starts getting the bill for something, and then suddenly, funnily enough, their opinion changes. But before we do that, just to let you know, our friends at Progressive Property are hosting their flagship multiple streams of property income event. It's in Peterborough. It's about an hour's drive or train journey north of London. It's Friday the 20th of October to Sunday the 22nd of October. It's completely free to attend. There's multiple property strategies to dive into, great networking as well. Aaron and I have attended many events before, and they are absolutely fantastic. So the link for that is in the show notes, or in the description, below. Do go and register, get your free ticket, and go and enjoy some property education and property networking for 3 days. Going back to this article then. So this is come from the Daily Mail. So the cost of charging electric cars in public has more than doubled in 2 years. In some cases, it's now cheaper to run a petrol or diesel car than an electric. So there's a couple of things here to take into account, that with this whole electric push, and we must be greener, we must be leaner, we must be meaner, etc., etc. What people haven't thought about, or they have thought about but haven't told you, or they just haven't thought about, is the structure of the grid. So the structure of the grid in the UK needs a lot of work. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know even if there is a power grid in the world that's good enough for all these electric vehicles, to be honest. But certainly here in the UK, to add all of this supposedly new electric usage onto the grid is no bueno. It's not very good at all, because the infrastructure is not there. So if the infrastructure is not there, and you're going to have all these people, with electric vehicles, etc., that's going to create utter chaos moving forwards. And again, these are just things that either people haven't thought about, or they have thought about and they just haven't told you. But going through this article, so homeowners, what the report is saying is that homeowners with a dedicated charger, smart meter, and electric car tariff from their energy supplier should pay, or can pay, as little as 5 pence per kilowatt to replenish the vehicle's batteries. However, a neighbour relying on council backed on street chargers, which you've probably seen as you're walking up and down the streets, they can face rates of up to 65 pence per kilowatt. And in a nutshell, that means that let's just take the same car. You could be charged as little as £2.56, or supposedly as much as 41 quid to charge. I mean, that is insane, to be charged 41 quid to recharge your car. Apparently, there are also idle fees of up to 6 pence a minute, which means that if you are charging your car and you remain attached to the charger, once your vehicle's filled up, then you will get charged for that as well. And then apparently, which is also quite interesting, charging at home, there's a VAT rate of 5%. Those charging publicly are stung with 20% rate of VAT. So again, the government or Bank of England, whomever, they're probably sitting around laughing at this, because their climate eco warrior policies are being slowly implemented, and guess who's paying for it? That's right, you're paying for it, whether you like it or not. And this is the thing when we go back with environmental economics, as we've said time and time again, that on paper, everything seems okay. We should use less carbon. We should have more electricity. We should have more nuclear and make ourselves greener and cleaner. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I think that's a fair thing to say. I do not have an issue with that. The issue that I have is that you're being lied to about it. When it comes down to the mining of batteries and for the goods and the minerals, etc., that need to be used in order to make everything for electric only, etc. That's the thing that bugs me, is that it's pot calling kettle black, so to speak. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's so hypocritical, it's unbelievable. And the second issue is that as we've said time and time again on YouTube videos and on the podcast as well, is these ideas on paper are okay until someone gets the bill for it. So the minute you start getting charged for charging your electric vehicle, etc., the idea seems good, but the minute it starts affecting your bottom line, the cash in your back pocket, that's when it starts getting very, very negative, and people's sentiment starts to change quite quickly. Why? Because it's coming out of their own pocket, and that's not good. Going back through this article very briefly, so it goes on to say residents complain that selfish electric car owners who do not have a driveway often leave cables along the pavement before topping up their vehicles. According to the National Federation for the Blind, trailing cables across the pavement is a trip hazard. No shit. Trailing cables across the pavement is a trip hazard. Yeah, Nomads, as they say in Mexico. And again, yeah, only the UK can make that sound way more unnecessary than it needs to be. But it is a valid point at the end of the day that if you're trailing cables across, and even if you're not looking where you're going or you are blind, then these are extra trip hazards that we have to deal with. And of course, this comes down to not being able to think about these things in the first place, because again, when you get to cities like Brighton, where I live, or you get to a lot of northern industrial towns where you've got these rows and rows and rows of terraced houses, they're absolutely fantastic. I like them anyway. They're absolutely fantastic. But then that means you're very likely not going to have a driveway. If everyone needs to go electric only, or you're being told to go electric only, where are all these charging cables going to go? Where are all the chargers going to go? It's this. There's not a joined up level of thinking, which again doesn't surprise me with the UK. And then the article finishes off by basically saying that the government has sort of changed their pledges, moving everything back from 2030 to 2035, which again is not a bad thing. There's a bit more realism now coming into play. And secondly, what we're also seeing is a lot more people are starting to get more agitated about climate policies, eco policies, etc. And that is going to come down to the fact that they're either getting screwed by more parking fines, or just more fines and more taxes in general. And the other thing I completely forgot what it was. Oh yeah, that's it, because they're starting to get the bill for it as well. So let's see what happens. But yes, according to that article, very interestingly, it's now in some cases starting to cost more to charge an electric vehicle than it is to fill up at the tank. Fun times ahead. As mentioned at the start of the episode or the video, the link to the Progressive Property event is in the description below. Please do go ahead and attend the event. It is fantastic. Aaron and I have done it many times before. We'll look to go again at some point in the future, and use that YouTube bell notification thing to get updated as and when we produce new video content. See you in the next video.